Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Kimberly Olson. I'm here to talk with you today about something a little more personal, and that is haters. I had never experienced this until 2 weeks ago, and I was shocked. Now, I shouldn't be shocked, right? I shouldn't be that naive. You're on YouTube, you're going to get some hate. But honestly, when you're talking about like mental health information, all I could think of was what's there to hate? Well, what happened was I received some comments that they had to be intended to be hurtful because they certainly weren't intended to be constructive. I love constructive discussion and I'm okay with people disagreeing with me, but the wording was so hostile and so I was just surprised, and I know I shouldn't be. So just a couple of the things that I do want to address. I had done a video where I was comparing what we call empaths with covert narcissists. And one of the comments was, being sensitive to your own feelings doesn't make you a covert narcissist. Well, that's not what I said. A covert narcissist is sensitive to their own feelings, not to the feelings of others. See what I'm saying? That is sensitive to me, my thoughts, my feelings, and not sensitive to how what we're doing impacts others. Another comment I got was, you're a narcissist for doing this video. Well, I have a bunch of problems of my own, but that isn't one of them. And so what I want to share with you is that if you're an expert in your field and you've done your time learning, becoming educated, doing therapy and all of those things, that is absolutely appropriate for you to do educational videos. And I do it for outreach purposes. I do it because it was asked of me. I wasn't real enthusiastic about it. Trust me, I tend to be pretty private, and so it was tough for me. And then somebody said that the background of the video looked like if it was Tony Montana's house. I actually thought that was funny, and I thought that was constructive criticism. So if you've got something to debate, we can always debate. But if you're just out for blood, fuck you. Don't waste your time with me. I have a purpose and a meaning in what I'm doing, and that is to provide support to people who need it, who might not otherwise be exposed to this information. So let's talk a little bit about what I learned in my little journey. I was not aware that there's a difference between trolls, haters, and even worse. Just not aware. And so Ashford talks about there being 6 types of trolls. The foghorn, anger looking for a place. So I'm going to put you on blast because I am getting rid of my anger and I'm dumping it on you. I don't know you from Adam. You've never done anything to personally hurt me or challenge me. But nevertheless, here we are, boom. And it kind of made me think a little bit about my experience, which is maybe there was some anger that a person who had fancied themselves as very sensitive and empathic might have taken offense to the idea that when you're only sensitive to your own feelings, that's something else. The escalator, this is passive aggressive anger. So we'll challenge your character, not your presentation. Yeah, I had one of those. The gas bag, self-subscribed intellectual, usually narcissistic, who is going to school on you. So very interesting. Again, this is usually not a person who is actually educated or spent time in the field. It's usually somebody who is self-subscribed. Okay, so maybe they're threatened by your content. The vituperator, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a hater. Scares victims, but doesn't usually address the actual issues present. So somebody's saying something creepy. The rip and twister, my all-time favorite, the most frustrating, because again, once this happened to me, I had to go and look and see what was happening on other people's pages, and everybody's getting it. And we got a lot of rip and twisters. So they intentionally twist or take your statements out of context. They pick one thing and they twist it. And it gives them a reason to argue with you, to discount what you have to say. And so that's the rip and twister. The pundit creates nothing of their own, but they make their name by analyzing the content of others. So in my process of looking up what this whole hater troll thing was about, I noticed that there's folks who are spending time just ripping other people apart. And I don't know how you call that a career. I mean, I guess you can, but how about uplifting people? How about supporting people? And if somebody is screwing up, who died and made us judge and jury of them? So it's very interesting. I would love to see many more people sort of go with what their talents actually are, their experiences actually are. So I really enjoy folks that have experience in people that have left certain cults and things like that, because I love hearing their life experiences and what they have to share. They have a purpose and a meaning behind what they're doing, but just destroying or obliterating another human being, well, I guess that's not for me to judge either. Proliferation. Okay, that's a new made-up word. Not by me, by somebody else. We've become incredibly tribal in our public sphere. We've lost our ability to intelligently debate. One of the things that I have shared previously is that when I'm at the gym, there's usually there's several TVs that are on. And so I will watch Fox News for a while, and then I'll watch MSNBC for a while. So Fox News being sort of traditionally very right-wing, MSNBC being traditionally very left. And so what's interesting is that you can see the coverage of the story, same story, but boy, is it approached differently. Okay. It's with profound disappointment that I discuss how we have done the rip and twist on each other. We take the most absurd argument from either the far right or the far left and pretend like that represents everybody in their sphere. And that is not the grounds of intelligent debate. Character assassination is not the grounds of an intelligent debate. In fact, I remember just being in school and doing debate team, and we were told that if you have to get personal, then your argument's not valid. Imagine how much we could learn from each other if it was okay to disagree. Anonymity, keyboard courage. So I'm going to do things and say things that I would never say to your face, but I'm going to say it because I'm behind a computer. And obviously it's really easy to find an audience. So we've always had bullies, but it's really easy to have that audience now with YouTube, Instagram, that kind of stuff. Okay. The ugliness we try to hide. So it made me dig deeper, and I can't help it because when something impacts me, I want to explore it. It's the social scientist in me. It made me wonder, due to a great many things that have happened over the last couple of years, do we really want to know about other people's successes? See, it seems that we're really supportive when people are down. But when people start doing well or doing something that's outside the box, we get all kinds of responses from, I simply will not acknowledge that you've done this. I will demean and degrade what you have done. Okay. And I think it goes back to this notion. And this idea came from another YouTuber. Who do you think you are? So if you've known this person your whole life and I don't know, you know their strengths and their weaknesses, which everybody's got them. Nobody's claiming not to. But who do you think you are? Who do you think you are talking about this stuff? And it's really disappointing because it's not necessarily the people you think. The people that you might suspect would be your greatest cheerleaders when you're trying to do something are sometimes the most silent. The ones who don't build, the ones that are the most critical, the ones who won't listen to what you have to say, because who do you think you are? Okay. So remember, silence is a response. So I don't like the feelings that I'm having when I see what you're doing, so I just won't say anything. Lack of support is a response. Demeaning the work of another, whether it's publicly or through gossip, that's a response. And not participating is a response. So the question is, how happy are we when someone that maybe we've considered at our same level starts to succeed? Is it the ugliness that's brought up inside of us? Do we begin to compete? Do we begin to think, who do you think you are? And I'm coming to believe that there's truth to that, because I've certainly seen that demon in myself before too. So anything we're talking about here, I'm not saying you, I'm talking about we the people. Okay. So why? Social comparison. Okay. So if you and I consider ourselves to be neck and neck, and all of a sudden you're doing something that maybe I considered doing, but for whatever reason, I haven't done it yet. Okay. Am I happy for your success? Or is the thought, I could do that too, and even better? Who do you think you are? A lack of self-awareness and an unwillingness to own our shadow selves. So folks, I know that we're stuck in a culture of toxic positivity, which is BS too. But everybody, if we go back to Jung talking about the shadow self, that dark side of ourselves that we don't want to talk about, that we don't want other people to know about us. I think our shadow self surfaces online because of anonymity. Number 4, of course, you don't know more than I do. And the truth is that whoever is presenting may not, but hopefully they do have a baseline and something that you can, I don't know, debate with regard to principles, not personality. What to do, improve what you can. So I am not using the Tony Montana background anymore, although like I said, I thought that was really funny. Remember why you're doing this. So I have to remind myself that this is not something that I got into because I did. This was something that I got into because I was asked repeatedly. I've been a professor for over 20 years, and I had people asking me, please, especially after I wrote the book, would you please do a YouTube and explain what's going on in there? Okay, I can do that. And understand there's always going to be criticism and there's going to be critics. So one thing that kind of made me laugh as I was having my little butthurt experience was that, remember, the critics didn't like Layla. You know, Eric Clapton, Layla, one of the most phenomenal pieces of music I think there is. They didn't like that either. I didn't like Zeppelin. I know I'm not comparing my talents to them. Don't misunderstand. But if they can just go forward with all that blatant talent and do what they want to do, then me with my little silly presentations that I hope are helping somebody can certainly do that. And don't personalize, because again, I have to remember and remind myself that it's your pain that you're projecting. I haven't done anything to you. I haven't said anything to you. I've really just given a little more than a college lecture. And so if there's a problem with it, that problem exists inside of you. And then finally, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Because this is part of what we're doing. And so these are reminders more to myself than anybody else. So that being said, I like what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that you're getting something out of it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If you have constructive criticism, boy, am I happy to hear that too. But, or to have an intelligent debate, you bet, we can absolutely do that. And you can hate, because you have the right to do that. But what you're not going to do is drag me away. Have a good one.